Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to another episode on the Mrs Elmi group. Today we have Hamza. I believe a lot of you know who Hamza is. So we're going to start off with him just briefly introducing himself, and then we'll go ahead and start the questions. So there you go, Hamza. If you can briefly introduce who you are.
Inshallah, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. As most of you know me as Nef Hamza Mohamed, or better known as Nephew Hamza. Ninkas ka buka badan omesha kuchira banahay matka. Anyways, I'm really honored to be part of this program. My dear sister Samsam invited me, so inshallah, I'll be willing to help with much I can, inshallah.
Inshallah. Okay, so as you know, our topic is from the point of view of a male parent's point of view of being the father of an autistic child. So I'm going to go ahead and start off with our first question is, how did you feel when you realized that you had a child who was a special needs?
Okay, when it comes to autism, when my son was first diagnosed, this was back in 2000. He was born in 2003. So we came to find out about he was autistic maybe 2 years later, around 2005. But as any parent at that time, we were in denial. And not only that, nobody knew about autism at that time. So I was pretty much in denial. I was like, you know what? This is normal. That your son has autism. We were all confused. We didn't know what autism was. So I didn't want to believe the doctor. I was like, you know, a typical Somali male is and not only that, I didn't start talking to him until when I was about 3 years old. So I was trying to make myself feel good about it. But on the same token, I was a little bit worried. But the denial took a long time, of which hindsight is 2020. To jump on it, the sooner the better. Like in most cases, and down the road, the more I came to understand it, that this is what autism is. We did a lot of research, try to first and foremost just to understand what autism is, because we didn't know. But alhamdulillah, the more we came to learn about it, and it's all about developing issues, the worries started hitting in, and we became pretty much fully invested in trying to find a cure for him. But alhamdulillah, other than that, it was just denial, the initial process.
It's expected. It's expected when you first hear that, of course. What advice would you give to fathers who have children with needs? What advice would specifically Somali fathers?
I mean, when it comes to us, a Somali male, is we pretty much live. I'm not gonna say I'm better than any father out there. Everybody has their own strengths and weaknesses. But when it comes to a child with special need, is you literally have to forget about yourself and pretty much invest your time fully to the causes and needs of your child, because this is a really challenging, really complex disorder that needs energy from both parents. Only one parent can survive. And we still find so much overwhelming. So I couldn't imagine any parent to go there, but I've seen a lot of parents, and that's why I give a lot of shout out and a lot of love to the Somali mothers out there who are surviving it by themselves. It's not easy. So I mean, the only one the fathers out there is, these kids need your energy, your support, your love. Every little bit of help goes a mile for that child. You pretty much have to put all your focus into that child to a point whereby you forget about your own needs. Sometimes I forget about buying my own clothes because every time I see something, oh, this would be good for Harun. Maybe let me go buy for him. So basically, as I say, for the love of your child, we tend to put ourselves in the back burner and pretty much focus 110% of your time, energy. Um, and not only that, I mean, we Somali male, especially, it's in our DNA not to show that love. We feel like, oh, we're making the child, I mean, like the boy be a little bit weaker or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like you're downsizing raganimada or something like that.
I don't believe in that bullshit at all. At the end of the day, a child who's raised in a loving home becomes a loving kid down the road. It's only good for him. Show them that love. Show them you love them. Give them those hugs. You see what I'm saying? But I knew just the way my dad raised me, I try to do as much as I can with my child because my dad was Allah Rahma was a very loving father, and he wasn't stingy with his hugs. He's always hugging us, kissing us on the forehead, telling us he loves us, and you become better people down the road when you have that kind of mentality. Like this mentality of he has to be lafarug, he has to be strong. You don't have to show. No, that's no scientific research has ever done to say that that's true. You see what I'm saying?
And it hasn't worked so far. It hasn't worked. So
it hasn't worked. Exactly. I mean, the reason today Somalis, in most cases, you have all this turmoil in our society is because there was less love instilled in these kids.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I just believe it's the little things that makes a huge difference. Just the little things. Being there for your kid. Try to be a good role model. Show them as much love as you can.
No, I absolutely agree with you. So I'm gonna come back to that denial bit that you mentioned earlier. So denial is a common step in accepting your child having a need. How do we support parents in coming to terms with a child's need?
Repeat that one more time.
How can we support parents that are in denial in how to come to terms with their child's need? Because that will obviously in return delay the process, which getting in the way of supporting your child.
Actually, I mean, in most cases, what I always tell parents is the more you're in denial, the more you're hindering his progress, the child's progress. Because the quicker and the faster, I mean, when it comes to autism, any development issues in kids, the younger they are, the better the prognosis.
Yeah, early intervention is the key.
Early intervention is always the key. So, the more we're in denial and these kids are growing, you're not helping, you're making it more difficult for that child down the road. So we have to pretty much crush our own egos and pretty much focus and say, you know what, this is something that's, especially in today's time and age, we have no excuses to be in, or no excuses whatsoever to really believe that autism is a hoax or it's not there. Autism is real and it's a development issue. It's complex. So, and there's so many studies out there that right now we understand what autism is, to be in denial. So we have to really understand is, are we helping our kids by being in denial? This is not something that's just gonna be like with a flip of a finger, it's gonna go away. We have to put the time in. So, and the time is now.
Correct.
It's something we have to really pretty much drill into their minds day in and day out.
So a lot of the times we see a parent having a child with needs as a negative way. So are there any positive aspects to having a child with needs, would you say?
Oh my God. I mean, as I tell people all the time, is having a child with special needs has made me a better parent. Has really, it's done me an immense good to really understand what my kids. In most cases, every father, every parent loves their kids, but there are certain things we used to take for granted. Is oh, the kid is growing. I mean, everything goes through the motion. They're going through school. They're going through all this stuff. So you're missing out a lot in their day-to-day growth. But having a child with special needs has really made me a better. I really believe in my bones has made me a better father and a better human being because they teach you a lot. I've learned so much just by observing what my child is going through, how his growth is, the little needed checking on his diet, checking on his therapies, being there with him like most of the time. Pretty much, I've learned so many things that I didn't know about. I mean, like about kids. So
has it taught you to be more patient?
That's another thing that I was coming to.
Yeah.
Patience. If I didn't have a child with special needs, I wouldn't even, I was actually in my earlier life, I was a really impatient person. If I wanted something, it has to be done. I had to jump on it. But yeah, exactly. I was like, why is it taking so long? But since I had Harun and going through his process, and that's another thing that he taught me. He taught me how to be patient.
Yeah.
The whole process taught me how to be patient. Nowadays, I'm so patient that there's no rush.
Alhamdulillah.
And every little progress that I see in him, it's a major milestone.
Alhamdulillah.
So,
I love your bond, mashallah. I love the bond that you have with Harun, mashallah. You can really tell that that's something that you've highly worked on, mashallah.
Exactly. Not only that, because there was a time I couldn't even get an eye contact from him. There was a time I couldn't get that smile from him. So right now, when he smiles, I just feel it down in my spine because I can see it in his face. It really feels rejuvenating.
Yeah.
Because it's something that we should take. You know, when your child smiles, you take it for granted.
Yeah.
But when you've gone through the process we've gone through with Harun, whereby we couldn't even get that eye contact. He was in his own world. He was all confused in this little bubble he was in. Right now, to be out of that bubble, the process and the time we put in really paid off. Right now, when he smiles, the little thing they do are progress. Even him saying the word like this. I don't know if you watched the video.
I'm a huge fan. I follow you all the way. MashaAllah.
So I asked him something. He says something and start laughing. You just can't imagine how much. Other parents may see that as nothing, like something we take for granted. But for me, it's huge. Yeah. It's really huge because we know the process we went through. We know how far we've come along. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? So those little things, I mean, it's amazing.
My favorite video actually is the one that you guys are in the kitchen. And then there was something you said, I think in Somali, or was it in English? In Swahili, was it? Yeah.
Exactly.
That was my favorite video.
I know, because I just asked him the word, what does Lala mean? Which Lala is seho in Somali, or sleep in English. So I was like, what does Lala mean? Because I was doing it during the day. I asked him, Harun, it's time, go Lala. So I was like, what does Lala mean? He's like, no, Safura, I said, is it time to sleep? He's like, no. So I was like, what does sleep mean? He goes, Seho.
Yeah.
And I didn't know he had that in him. I knew he knew a little bit of Somali here and there. But it really surprised me at that time. So my reaction made him laugh.
Yeah.
So even up to now, if I say, what does Lala mean? He starts laughing. He knows what's coming. He say,
Mashallah, mashallah.
And the way he says it, yeah. So those little things, those little things, are huge.
Yeah.
Are really huge. The little things, even the day he started walking, it took him a while to start walking. It took him a while to say his first word. To me, his first word, I was like, what? Out of the house that called me and says, Harun, saying a word today. It's like, it was a new world.
It's made your day. No, it's totally understandable, mashallah.
Exactly.
So what has been the response from the Somali community towards your child, would you say?
Well, it's been great. It's been really great. And the reason I share most of these stories, I talk to parents, and I put Harun's face out there for other parents to come out. And it's it's been enormous, the feedback and the fathers that are calling me, try to give them advice and tips on how to go about things, is because I pretty much put everything out there. I have nothing to hide. I don't look down upon Mahad as his autism as a weakness
Yeah.
or as a disorder. I see him as, you know what? Hey, Allah gave us this, and He
Alhamdulillah.
gave us for a reason.
Yeah.
So, Alhamdulillah. And I tell parents, you know what? Never feel ashamed. Never feel like you have to hide your child. Never feel like this is this was not meant for you.
Hmm.
At the end of the day, be proud. Be proud of your child. So when I share, the more videos I share about him, the more stories I share about him, um, and it has helped a lot of parents. It's been amazing. I mean, like the kind of feedback and the
Yeah.
calls that I'm getting. Most Somali fathers are kind of private, of which I understand.
Yeah.
When it comes to especially their kids, they try to keep it on the low stuff. I tell them no. I mean, like, you know what? If you have questions, you wanna get answers for your child. And with autism, it's not all fits all. It's all different. I mean,
Yeah.
some kids, I mean, their prognosis are all different. So for Hawaiian, get as much information as you can.
Yeah. And do what fits for your child,
Exactly. For
basically.
your
Yeah.
child, exactly. For your
Yeah.
child's need, exactly. And it works. So,
Yeah.
mm,
So, what advice would you give to the Somali community, particularly those
mm,
who do not have children with needs? Like, how
mm.
receptive and welcoming should they be towards those children as well as their parents?
Also, it's very important. I don't know if you remember one time I posted about when I was in a supermarket
Hmm.
and I saw this African lady with her son, and the son was going through a lot of tantrums.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember.
Exactly. So in that kind of situation, is me being in a situation like her, and I mean, like even without her telling me anything, I could look at the child, I could know exactly what the issue was because they have all these sensory issues. They have the crowd, basically the voices they're hearing. All these things are really overwhelming for the child. So she didn't know what to do. She was confused. She was really overwhelmed. So she was trying to pull the child out of the supermarket, and the child was fighting back. Was on the floor doing all kind of tantrums, fighting her off, and really screaming.
Yeah.
But me being through her situation several times and to really understand what was going on, I had to make her first and foremost understand what the situation is. Well, at the end of the day, I knew when I take Haru somewhere, I'm pretty much blind to anybody else who's there. I don't care what other people are thinking.
That's it. Put your blinders on, basically.
I
Yeah.
put my blinders on. My focus at that time is Haru. I used to be like you. I used to be worried, oh, what are other people thinking about my son when he acts like this? Because some people might think, oh, the child is just having bad manners or whatever.
Yeah.
So no, you have to. So what I did was we sat on the floor with a child. Sit down. Do me a favor.
So,
And you're worried. The panic sets in. So it becomes difficult for you to help your son. So you have to relax. You have to show him, you know what, everything is okay.
mhm.
Just like so, looking for this, and I talk to the child, I'm like,
Hamza, you're slightly frozen there.
Josiah, what's go home now? To
Yeah,
go home. So just
that's
talk to him
okay.
nicely and
Yeah.
softly, and it
No, no.
walked out.
So you were
Hello?
slightly frozen there, for Hamza. Could you just repeat while this
Okay,
was going on?
yeah, Dulk Allah for his name. I will make sure the child was calm.
Hmm.
So Ankwiri, the most important thing is the child has to be really calm. He has to see calmness in you too.
So,
But if he sees you're panicked, the panic will also set him in him. Because his sensory, they're, they're on overdrive. There's so many things that are overwhelming him right now. The crowd of people in the supermarket, the
Yeah.
noise, the sound, everything is really triggering his sensory issues.
Yeah.
So you have to be calm. So when we sat down, after a few minutes, the kid was fine. He was so calm.
Yeah.
Like you see, all you gotta do is every time you see like he's getting overworked, just relax, take a deep breath, and be patient.
صح.
So another phone came in, but
That's
I'm not gonna
okay.
answer.
That's
I'll
okay,
answer later.
Hamza. Don't worry. This is a relaxed conversation, mashallah.
But anyways, at the end of the day, Wahawiyan, hold on 1 second. Let me just take this one off real quick. Okay, anyways.
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyways, so when it comes to a community, I try to tell people, let's try to understand families that have kids with special needs.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, we are all a whole community. So the more we understand, the more we can help other families too.
Aaron.
I'll give you a good example. There are certain times, Mahara, like either we couldn't go to Eid prayers. Maybe one parent will take the other child and one parent will stay home with a child with special needs because we didn't know how to navigate
Aaron.
through the whole process of taking the child to the mosque, to all these people, the crowd will trigger a lot of sensory issues. So sometimes I tell parents, I tell other Somali families over there, if there's other families in your neighborhood who have kids with special needs, and let's say, for example, maybe one of you is not going to the Eid prayers due to some other reasons,
Issues. Yeah.
take the initiative to tell the family, you know what, how about I come over here and babysit for you guys so you guys can go for prayers. Those little things go mine.
No, absolutely. I agree.
It helps. So you babysit for their children with special needs and let the parents and the other kids go to the prayers.
Yeah.
Spend some time. Then when they come back, they can spend time with their child with special needs and take them to other events or whatever. Like you make the prayers.
Yeah. But what that would be a lovely gesture, wallahi, and an amazing ajr as well that you would get for doing that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yes. I've told a lot of people, the first thing I tell them, you know what? Look, especially when the parents are in need, especially going to prayers and they need maybe the both parents are capable of going at that day. Then because you have to understand when it comes to children or with special needs, the other child is always left behind.
Aaron.
So you always have to we try to maneuver through those issues because Alhamdulillah, Safia, she's grown to be a child who understands her brother.
ما يذاك وين هرتا ما يذاك وين كيرتي okay.
So what she does is she's very overprotective of her brother.
Yeah.
So and to us, we feel like she's sacrificed a lot to learn about her role.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, she's still a child.
Yeah.
So she also needs that time
Mm-hmm.
and effort. So we try our level best, try to split time to make sure she gets whatever she needs, her time or whatever.
Yeah.
But on the same token, because if you don't watch out, if you're not careful, you might overspend a lot of time on the child with special needs that you end up forgetting the other child.
Yeah.
So there's always that balancing act that you have to maneuver through.
No, I totally get you. And this is where the outside help comes in, you know.
Oh yeah.
Them relieving you of your duties just for a couple of hours. You know, if the two of you have to go out with Sophia or something like that, so then she would also feel that although she's supporting, she's also getting that one-to-one with you guys as well, mashallah.
Exactly, because sometimes there are times not both parents can take Sophia anywhere.
Yeah.
So we always have to split our time.
Yeah.
When Haska is taking Sophia somewhere, I'm staying with Harun or vice versa. It would be nice if we could do something as a family, but when it comes to child with special needs, that's totally out of the window.
Yeah. You have to. There's a lot of things that have to play into it. Where you're going. Yeah.
Exactly. You have to pretty much understand. Okay, where are we going?
Yeah.
What is the environment like? what are the triggering, sensory triggering places we're going. So those little things you have to look into. There are certain places oh, you know what? There's no way we can go there. It's going to be hard for her own. So Sophia has to go with her mom, or I have to take Sophia, or vice versa. Either way.
Yeah. Mashallah, mashallah. Now, is there anything you wish you knew or had knowledge of before having Harun?
Actually, to be honest, we always have regrets in the sense of the time it took. I'll go back to the denial phase.
Yeah.
The denial phase was key, because it took almost a good 3 to 4 years for really to get a really grasp of the kind of issue we're dealing with.
Yeah.
So if there's any regret, is at that time maybe we could have done more. But at the end of the day, everything everything was meant to be. So we cannot dwell into that. We just pretty much walk into whatever process, whatever hand we're dealt. But I won't say anything as per saying in the sense of in the situation. I mean, everything has worked out the way I projected it to be.
Yeah.
It's just to put the time in, put the effort in, and pretty much make sure you're fully hands-on with your child.
Yeah.
With whatever things he needs.
So
especially when it comes to therapy.
Warren, what are the things, activities that you do? I mean, I'm aware of the basketball that you do, mashallah, and the swimming. What other things do you do with Harun that you've seen some benefits in?
Just the regular bonding. You'll be amazed, just the rides we take.
Yeah.
Or just the walking on the park.
Yeah.
Like a couple of miles walking, or even the rides we're taking. Because we have this routine. Like every few days we'll go to the certain store. I mean, because he's on a special diet. So his cookies is only one store that sells like gluten-free, this kind of cookies that he likes.
Yeah.
So the drives we take to that store and coming back, go to the store, walk with him inside, we go to the aisle, he fixes whatever he needs, we come back. So pretty much we're going through a set routine that he understands.
Yeah.
Getting his yogurt, where to go get his yogurt, teaching him the little things that he needs to learn. And just having him in the car and just driving endlessly without even going anywhere, just having him in the car.
Yeah.
And just asking him questions. And we're talking. Give him my phone, he watches the video, I take the phone, I say, okay, now it's my time. We switch back and forth.
Yeah. Bargain, mashallah. That's good.
Yeah. So basically just those little bonding time with him, special times with him, and the walk, especially the walk. We'll go walking, then he feels like he's not really tired. Then before we get to the house, he'll hold my hand and say, let's go back.
Oh.
Then we'll go back again and do that. I don't know if you answer because it's exercise at the end of the day for me.
Yeah, yeah.
And for him is spending that time with him.
Yeah,
getting to learn him more.
Mashallah.
Because and also that helps him because he was very impulsive. He'll see something he wants to jump on. Now, but walking and telling him, okay, now, but you can't do this, you can't do this. He's learning through that.
Yeah,
that process.
Mashallah, mashallah. What services do you wish existed in supporting parents and children with needs? Like, this is going back 2003. Ignore the denial stage, but what services would you have wanted it being there to support families?
Actually, when it comes to autism is a very expensive disorder.
Yeah.
Kids with special needs is expensive. Their diet, their therapies. So in Aku, when we're going through the process back in the day, there were never a lot of government-funded programs.
Yeah.
Whereby everything was on a waiting list. So everything was out of pocket. We paid everything out of pocket, which is very expensive. So like 2 hours speech therapy, you're looking at about $400. 2 hours wouldn't do him any good.
He needs a regular therapy. Hamza, you're frozen again.
So
Yeah,
because when it comes to autism, the diet is key.
yeah,
So because you have to heal the gut for the brain to function properly.
mm-hmm.
So we didn't know all this stuff. Everything was trial by error.
Yeah,
So we didn't have exactly a guideline whereby we get a good nutritionist to help us understand all the diet process that we had to go through.
mm-hmm.
So those are the kind of little things that we really needed to understand for us to. So right now, there's so many programs out there, but on the same token, a lot of families I don't know where to find this help from
Yeah,
or where to go for the help to. So that's why we have all these community-based programs whereby the community helps parents, especially we have the language barrier. So we have to help the parents understand, okay, Ilmahan, there's this program that helps this and this and this. There's this speech therapy that you need to sign up the child for.
yeah,
And this is where we're coming in. I try my level best, Haska tries our level best to give out as much information as we can to the families
yeah.
where they need. Mm,
No,
mm,
that's fantastic. Wallahi, we have to come
mm.
together. We have to support one another, and
Oh yes.
especially Marakti community aska and Fura specifically to help these families. They really
Mm,
have to mean it. Like they really need to help the communities and not just take the funding and then I don't know,
exactly.
which is
Mm.
quite heartbreaking. Wallahi,
We
what are
shouldn't.
your
Yeah,
thoughts on that?
we shouldn't focus on that. I tell people, listen, never look at money aspect. If you're doing something, do it for the passion,
Yeah,
for the love of what you're doing. You have to do it with a focus that you love what you're doing and you're trying to help these kids. It's not about just, oh, how much can we make out of this?
mm-hmm.
I know when I do this thing, I volunteer love just for the kids. I do it for the kids. I don't care if there's I've never ever in my life ever looked for any kind of funding.
Mm-hmm.
For me, is whatever that has helped Harun guide Harun through the process.
Yeah,
I try to transfer the same knowledge and expertise to these other parents who are going through the process.
yeah,
And I tell them, listen, there's this good program. Let's give it a try. You have to sign up here. There's this funding that's available for summer school programs for the kids. You have to sign up. So the more information we send out there to the parents, it's at the end of the day, it benefits us all
that's
as
right.
a
In
community
return, yeah,
in return. So
yeah. So, last question: have you had any close friends? I mean, I'm aware of Abdiweli, Fatima's husband, mashallah, who's your dear
mhm,
friend. Can
exactly.
can you tell me a little bit about your friendship and how you've managed to support one another?
Oh man, Abdulwali has been immense. He's an awesome, awesome dude. I mean, we have a few parents that we really bonded through the process. I'm the oldest of the group, and I'm the one who's been through the process a lot. I've
Yeah,
been longer than most of them. So pretty much I've tried to guide them as much as I can. And at the end of the day, they're also helping. I mean, we're helping each other, we're guiding each other
yeah,
through the process. We also learning from me. But when they were going through the process, they they found out about the diagnosis of their kids, especially with
mm-hmm.
Abdulweli. We became so close. It's pretty much we felt like we're family because I know what they're going through and they know what I'm going through.
That's right.
So guiding through them through the process and them learning of new avenues out there and bringing it back to me, it's pretty much been immense.
Yeah,
And we're learning every day. Is a learning process. I mean, every day I may find something, they may find something, and pretty much it's all a matter
exchanging.
of sharing information. Yeah,
Yeah,
sharing
yeah.
information day in and day out. I mean,
Mashallah.
sometimes we're getting so excited. Oh, yeah, I found out about this. Have you tried this? Hey, go check this place. Then, and we
Mashallah.
go from there. Mhm.
Thank
So
you, thank
basically,
you. Waxaan doonayay
it's
inaad ku gabagabagaysid, inaad ku soo finish garaysid how parents should be their child's advocate, like only inaad adigun maaragtay advocate-ka ilmahaaga noqon kartid, and you should rely on, I don't know, no system to do it for you.
Exactly. What I mean, I tell people, just the way you're passionate about the way you breathe your air, the air we breathe. You're gonna do whatever it takes, try to survive, try to get that air. So same thing with your child. It's just like your air. You're trying. So what do? You do whatever it takes. Research. You do as much research. Is the time you're putting in his prognosis and his development is the same time you're putting on yourself how you could live day to day. You don't take anything for granted. So you're the only advocate of your child, because at the end of the day is what the man has and say, okay, let this child stay in here because I cannot take him anywhere and I'm not going to find any kind of help. No, you have to fight for your child. Be out there, be vocal, and tell other parents, you know, don't act like you don't want to ask questions.
Yeah.
No question is stupid question. Every question is legit. If you don't understand something, ask. And I've seen a lot of parents and they say, he'll be fine. Somalian girl, I know girl, but he'll be fine.
Oh, please.
You know, and I tell people, don't believe in that. You have to be your child's advocate. You have to fight. Just the same way you're fighting for that you have to do the same thing with your child. It's as simple as that. Well, I mean, I don't know what else I could tell people, because I know it's only a matter of also you have to have a passion for what you're doing.
Yeah.
I really believe if you have the love for your child, you're gonna do whatever it takes.
Yeah. And also knowing ilmahagu cannot do these things for themselves, so you have to be their voice. You have to be their mind, like like the way that you would. Yeah.
You have to be. And not only that, I mean, one thing I also tell people is Haska, my wife, she's the rock of the family. She's taught me a lot. Having two partners, especially having a strong partner like Mahara Haska, for example, having Fadumo by his side, it's also immense. Basically, Haska taught me a lot when it comes to autism.
Yeah.
Women have more patience. So going through the process, I learned through the same thing with Adweli. Having Paduma around also helped him be a better man and be a better father. So we have to give the credit where credit is due. Without Hasa's care now, we would be nothing.
No, definitely. And the women need a break. Like inay maaragtay iyagu maalin guriga fadhiistaan, they take care of everything, and let the women go out, bit of pampering waa loo baahan yahay, because most of the times what happens is the minute you hear of this news, you just go under a rock, and that's not good for the mental well-being. Honestly, they need a break.
They need a break. Yeah, we need each other. Basically, I tell people, you know what, autism is not simple. Children with special needs, both parents have to be in the picture at all times. After that, kind of 10 months, I know some parents who are divorced.
Yeah.
I tell them, listen, at the end of the day, you're not divorced from that child. That child needs your time. It needs you there 24 hours a day. I mean, you don't have to be there 24 hours a day, but at least spend as much time as you can with that child, because he needs you. It's okay, it's part of life. But that child, you're also still part of his life.
So
exactly. Yeah. No other father, no other man is going to go into be in the picture.
Yeah.
You're the father. Yeah. Simple as that.
Period. Oh, Hamza, I could talk to you for hours and hours, mate. Wallahi al-Adim.
Hey, it was a blast. It was a blast. Yeah. Well, I'm really happy.
Yeah.
Somali, our kids need us.
Yeah.
I mean, that saying, the saying is, oh, Mahara, the word love, or kissing your son, or hugging your child, maha.
Right.
you have to maharaza, you have to show them that love.
Yeah.
There's nothing more important than that. It's huge.
Yeah.
I mean, even if Harun was, let's say, a normal kid, I mean, like a normal teenager, going out there, I'll still hug him, I'll still love him, I'll still kiss him, I'll still have the smiles with him.
No, for as long as they let you. I force myself upon them, even if they don't want it.
Exactly. I knew I spoiled them. I spoiled them with that all the time.
Yeah.
So,
Fabulous.
but he was awesome. Wallah, it was a blast.
What do you normally call me? Reminds me of wallahi adeeraday sida igu yeedhi jireen ina cilmiyey. Oh my god, wallahi I appreciate you walaalo, waan kuu soo duceynayaa, adiga iyo xaaskaba waan kuu soo duceynayaa, ciyaalkiina wallahi you're an example, and I'm not bigging you up, but wallahi you're a huge example for a lot of fathers out there. Ilahi, you know,
as I said before, I'm not better than any father. I'm just an average father, but at the end of the day, I just love the love I have for my kids is out there showing.
Yeah.
And I just want other parents to do the same.
Yeah.
Don't be ashamed to show love.
Yeah.
It's just that simple.
Orun.
Wallahi, it's awesome.
aad iyo aad baad u mahadsantahay my dear, jazakallah khair. Okay.
Hopefully we should do this more often, inshallah.
Definitely. We need more fathers coming forward and talking about their experiences. And I'm hoping, wallahi, that this conversation will start a lot of dialogue at home amongst Inta, specifically Marakti and Abayasha, inshallah, ya Rabbi. Okay?
And dadweynaha waxaan rabaa inaan ku iraahdo de af Soomaaliga maxaan I would love to do it in Somali. Laakiin weli af Soomaaligaygu waxa weyn oo bariga dhexe.
Don't worry, aniga ku baraya. Aniga ku bari doona hawarwarin. Ina cilmi waa ku bari doontaa.
The funny thing is, wallahi very much jirtay. Anigu I remember maxaan markan qurbaa imi.
Yeah.
Inan ma kala saari jirin.
It's very similar.
Gabbanaha. Marka, I've come a long way, so it's good, alhamdulillah.
Yeah,
that's
alhamdulillah.
Awesome.
It all has to start somewhere, Hamza, so don't worry.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Marka, so Facebook ba Somali ku bartay ma geliga.
You're loved, horta wallahi, you're loved. Waducaysan tahay, Ilaahay ku barakeeyo wax walba. Aad iyo aad baad u mahadsantahay walaalo. Jazakallah khair. Inshallah waan ku soo duceynaya walaalo.
Inshallah, it was awesome. It was a blast. I'm really honored to be part of this conversation. Inshallah, the ilahi khair, aduna khair ilahi kusiya, inshallah.
Allahumma ameen. Gidigan, inshallah.